Well, y'all, I am waiting for Infinity War to start, and I am eating. I have literally gotten here early, about an hour early, because I'm actually gonna see it in 3D. So I don't know about you. I'm not saying I'm gonna be excited about this, but we'll see. I'm gonna make this quick. I don't really want to go too much into this movie because I've just never felt so annoyed and angry in my life. I didn't like this movie at all. I didn't. I'm just being honest. I did not like it. I'm just going to go into the few positives that I have about it, and then I'm going to go into the negatives. The positives that I have about this are two characters, Thanos and Gamora. There was a huge, like, her story, her character had, like, a huge story arc. Like, her character literally evolved very quickly, but she evolved. She was pretty much the only one besides Thanos. And Thanos, by far, is one of the best villains in the MCU. He out-tops Loki. He out-tops Killmonger. And he definitely out-tops Obadiah. I love Thanos because Thanos, not only he was sadistic in his methods of how he wanted to get the job done, he was cool about it. And also he had a reasoning on why he did it. And he literally thought he was a hero when he did what he did. And he was intelligent. He wasn't just like, oh, I'm evil, I will destroy the world. No, 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 no. And I'm really starting to believe that Disney is trying to transform their villains. I'm starting to see somewhat of a trend. Because they did the same exact thing with Eric Killmonger. They want to do the exact same thing with Thanos. And they did it very well. I'm not going to deny that. He's one of my favorite villains now. But I'm going to go into the negatives. Very, very choppy editing. It's not really so much the fact that it's all over the place. And I've seen that in a lot of reviews that I've actually watched before seeing this movie. It makes sense for it to be in different locations because there's so many different people in the MCU now. There are people in space and then there are people on Earth. The people in space, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor, what have you. It makes sense for them to all be in space. And then it makes sense for the folks to be on Earth as well. But it's not even that. It's how they got to that point. It's what really bothered me. We got into what happened, but we didn't really see how it got that bad. That's the one thing that bothered me about that whole movie. We didn't really see the journey on how it got there. It just took us straight to the middle. And I really felt like it robbed me as an audience member. I feel like it really robbed me of that detail. Secondly, there's far too much comedy in these Marvel movies, and it just bothers me. They're trying to emulate Guardians of the Galaxy by having laughable moments or having a lot of comedy and humor in the movies. It worked for that. It doesn't work for everything. That's why I hated Thor Ragnarok. When you consider something called Ragnarok, sure, have comedic moments in order for you to not have a heart attack, but don't make that the premise of the entire movie. That's what bothered me about this one. They just had too many points of laughter. And I guess switching over to another positive, there were some of the characters that actually did mesh very well. One being Doctor Strange and Tony Stark. And we know that Doctor Strange and Tony Stark are actually the anti-counterparts of one another. I can't really think of how to say it. But of course, Tony Stark is a complete douchebag, but he's lovable. But then you got Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange, who is just he's just a plain jerk. He's an a-hole, straight up jerk, man. There's nothing really likable about him, but they have so much in common that it's really great to see them on the screen. And it was just flat out hilarious. I will say that about that. But and then you also have Guardians, and then you have everybody else of different types of areas kind of mushed together. Some of them didn't work, some of them did. But the ones that stood out the most definitely was Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, because they're kind of like, one is a dick but lovable, but the other one, like Stephen Strange, is just a dick. That's why I think it worked. But moving on from there, I got to say that besides the fact that it was laughable, besides the fact that it was far too much comedy, I'm tired of the heroes being idiots. Especially those that know what's going on. If you are perfectly aware of what the Infinity Stones are and what the Infinity Gauntlet does, why would you act like that? Why would you use that method in a form of attack? Like, I don't get it. I know what I said doesn't make any sense, but I'm tired of characters being stupid when I'm trying to think about a way to say it. But I'm tired of characters being stupid when the situation actually starts to happen. And I'm trying to say it in the best way possible, man. The characters act like idiots. And they have all the knowledge that they need to get all the knowledge that they need to know how bad things can get. And they still act like morons. And that's just what bugged me the most. And then I'm going to go into the ending. The ending really bothered me because it felt so random. It really felt random. It didn't feel like that everybody has something at stake. It felt random. And then we got the post-credit scene, which is by far the worst, because you're supposed to know what that means. If you are not a Marvel fanboy or fangirl, you're not going to have a clue what the post-credit scene meant. I'm not a Marvel fanboy or fangirl. I'm just a casual. But I will say that I've watched all the movies except for one, Spider-Man Homecoming. I don't have a clue what that symbol meant. I'm not an avid comic book reader. I'm just not getting into comic books. But I have no idea what the post-credit scene meant. And you're not supposed to know, I guess, unless you've gone back and looked at all the movies. And my overall thoughts is this, guys. I didn't like the movie. And I advise people who are casual fans not to see this. Don't, because unless you've seen all of these movies, unless you've seen all these movies for the past 10 years, you're not going to have a clue what's going on. You're not going to have much fun with it. You're not. But if you are a fanboy or mark for Marvel, you will know every single last detail and you're going to enjoy yourself. But like I said, if you're not, you're going to be lost. This is not going to be fun for you. So if you have kids that don't really watch Marvel movies, but this is going to be your first, wait until it comes out on Blu-ray or DVD. Don't see it live. Don't. If you are a casual fan and you occasionally see this, wait until it comes out on DVD. Or wait until it comes out on pay-per-view. Don't see this in movies, in theaters, because you're just going to get confused. I'm just saying. But honestly, y'all, I'm not going to say I completely hate it. I just don't like it. The effects was great. The stakes felt really high at times until the end, and it felt weird. But honestly, y'all, I didn't like this movie. If you're casual, watch at your own risk and go in with the lowest expectations ever. If you are a fan, go in with the lowest expectations ever. But honestly, y'all, I'm not going to say this is a must-see. I'm going to say this is a see if you want to.